Hey, what's up, good people? How you doing? Welcome back to Stock Up with Larry Jones. Go ahead and hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell. If you've been rolling with me for a while, hit the like button. Continue, never stop. All right. Let's get right into it, good people. There's a lot of things that happened today, and just want to go over a few things with you. And listen, a lot of you guys are watching, but you're not subscribed. I'm finding out. Okay, so make sure you hit the subscribe button and that notification bell and make sure it's darkened out. All right, let's get to it. Look, S&P 500 ekes out a gain today to post third winning session. All right, third winning session. We know that that's a feat now that we've had all of these bad days back to back to back to back. All right, so now as we look at the pre-markets, I would call this mostly flat, though it's green. But I would still call it mostly flat. Implied open 11, 4, and 24 with the indices there. Now, when I do get nervous is when they're down by triple digits, even now. I call this the pre-markets. The real pre-markets for me, if you ask me, starts in the morning, okay? But these are the pre-markets, and it's saying implied open. The S&P 4 points and the NASDAQ 25 points. You and I know that we've been doing this for a while, that could change drastically from now until 2 hours before opening bell. All right, let's just call it what it is. So how do we look today with the NASDAQ and S&P, especially for those that are doing the options? We did okay today. The S&P barely made it positive, as you can see here, 9 points. And the NASDAQ did pretty good. I will call this a day for the bulls, is what I would call this. And they're still fighting. And I expected, actually, a slightly red day today. But I was pleasantly surprised that the S&P came back and eked out a win. As you can see, it opened up, ran up, and then dove, faked out, and then dove even more, up again, dove. You guys see it. It was a roller coaster, but not too bad, right? So let's talk about DJT, all right? I know, you guys know, I'm personally bearish on it because they don't have any money, but this was a news story, so I got to share it with you guys, right? DJT. DJT, which is Donald J. Trump, remember, formerly known as DWAC, as we can see, Trump Media. What happened with them, all right? We had a, here we go. Let me do this. If you come down here, DJT stocks surge on crypto.com announcements. So shares of Trump Media and Technology Group, DJT, and DJTWW, which are the warrants, are soaring after it announced the company will team up with who? Crypto.com. Okay, so they are getting, again, they tried to buy another company, but now they are teaming with Crypto.com because they are steadfastly trying to get into crypto in every way they could. Okay, so they're already into crypto, but they're trying to find more doors and more ways in to position themselves. Right, and so we could see right here that they had a nice little bounce up, right? Look at that. DJT went up, but the warrants, you guys know we make a killing on warrants, though I am not in this play. And even with this, I'm not bullish. I believe it'll have a bank up, bank down. They're in trouble. They're not making any money still. We got, let's call that 9 points on the stock. And then we got 12, let's call that almost 13 points on the warrants, as you could see here on the warrants. Now the warrants, 2 and 28. Now here is where the warrants will start to gain less on the next day. All right. So right here, the warrants have performed. If I was in this play and I got this much on the warrants because of the gapage between the stock and the warrants, I would be taking my profits here. If you don't think it's going to continue to run, me personally, I would take my profits right there. Right. I want to put another one on you guys. You know what? Before I do that, let's look at what we did yesterday. All right. These are my dollar cost average. And remember, yesterday I was up pretty good. Sorry about that. Yesterday I was up pretty good, and I was catching rockets. So you could see that today Palantir was, I would call that flat. Snow was flat, and Nvidia is down a percentage. Okay, so Nvidia down 0.5%. Palantir is down almost 0.5% today to the right. But if you look to the left, overall, since we've been DCAing, I'm up 16%, Palantir up 12, Snow 5. All right, then I had a few more here. I showed you guys this on yesterday, so it's only fair to show it again today. Amazon was up 1 point. Meta's up 1 point to the right there, right? Costco's up 0.5 point, and TQQQ is up another 2 points. And to the left, you could see where they are. Now, just like I told you guys and how I told people in my money moves, I'm simply dollar cost averaging from now until after April 2nd, okay? Freedom Day, all right? I want to be free from this roller coaster ride. So now I told you guys that the money moves is we weren't doing a lot of options. So right after I did that, after I said that, we got into 2 option plays over the last 2 days in my bonus room, and it actually helps you to pay for a couple of years. Actually, you would have paid for a couple of years. Actually, you'd pay for a couple of years just with these 2 plays. Okay, so look at this. I got into this Carvana, and it went up 50%. One contract, and it went up 50%. Right? It cooled off, but this is what I want. One of the things I want to talk about is stop losses. Okay, and then the day before that, we were in TEM. We got into this call option. You could see another with 2 contracts, so it's $400 there, and then we got $500 there, so a quick $900 if you would have sold at the top. Right? Got one more thing, and then we'll talk. All right, so I talked about this one in my money moves. This is something I want to give you guys. Let you guys in on this. I talked about this in the money moves that this was up. Airship was up massively on yesterday, but in the warrants was up massively on yesterday, and today they went up again. All right, and so this is one of the ones I want you to keep your eye on because they were due to miss earnings. It was a small cap stock, as you could see. They were expected to miss earnings, and then they came out with their earnings. 2024 net revenue of 23.1 million. All right. So 23.1 million, which you guys know is a small company, right? But it was an 87% increase over FY. All right. And then 2023 net revenue was a 12.3 million, right? Look at that. No debt on balance sheet following conversion of 2.8 million in senior security convertible notes, right? So that's what's happening with this company, Airship. So listen, good people, on this Airship AI, this is the way I would play it. Personally, I didn't buy it on yesterday because it ran up so much. If you look here from the bottom of March 21st to the top, it went up 28%. So guess how much the warrants went up in that same time period, right? And so let's see. Let me show you guys this. So the warrants in that same time period, if we go to the 21st and go up, the warrants went up, look at that, almost 79% in that same time frame, right? So now let's go back to the stock without the W. And what I want you to do is understand that this is going to rock with AI, right? And so what is in AI? What can we use? I'm going to use QQQ, right? That's what I'm going to use. And here's why. I'm going to show you this. I show people in the money moves this. I'm going to share this one with you guys. So if you go over the last 5 days with this, you can see that the blue, the yellow is the S&P, QQQ rather. And you could see what happened with QQQ. You see that? QQQ went down, what? Almost in correction territory. You see that? And so when it went down, that was the time to buy, right? And so when big tech goes into correction territory, meaning negative 10%, that's when I look for these small caps, like I told you guys. so I can leg up. And so I put a few of these in my Roth. So clearly you could see when it went down by 10%, all right, the S&P, I'm sorry, QQQ, right? You could see, had you looked and searched and bought this stock, which is the blue, you see that? So the blue is Airship. You can see that you would have made that run up. Bam. See that? So let's just take QQQ out of that, and you clearly see you could have made 35% on the stock from the 13th to the 19th. Okay? From the 13th to the 19th. And on the warrants, you could have went, let's see here, let's go out a month, and let's find the 13th to the 19th. You could have made 45% on the warrants. I just want to talk about one thing before we go, right? With everything that's going on. Listen, this is all about change. We're all about change right now, right? I'm changing in the studio. I got my bear market beard on. I've been wearing this hat, which I won't be wearing forever, and I won't be wearing this beard forever. I'm about to go into the other room, and I will be wearing hats, advertising my coffee because of what I want to do. But I just want to talk about change. And what I want to talk about real briefly is changing the way you used to trade. And what I mean by that is change the things that you need improvement in. Change your losses. One of the things I want to tell you guys is it's time to change. It's time to switch it up. One of the things I want you to switch it up on is if you've been doing options and you've been losing, but you were winning first. And I want you to say, that's me. I want you to say, that's me. It's a lot of people because it used to be me. So for instance, you get into an option play and it's green and you're up. I don't care if it's 10% or 20%, but you're up a nice amount. You know, you're making $100, you're making $150, you're up $150, right? Or some of you, they may be thousands of dollars. Let's just go for the smaller ones. You're up $150, right? And let's face it, you're only making $200 a day on your job, but you're up $150. Some of you only making $150 on your job. Let's just say you up $200. You matching. You're up $250. You're matching what you make on your job in a day. But you always wait, and it turns around, and then you get distracted while you're at work, and next thing you know, it's negative. So when that keeps happening, because you think it's going to dip down and go up some more, I want you guys to start setting stop losses. And I don't want you to ever look at stop losses again the same after you hear this. Don't just use stop losses to stop your losses when you're losing. Use stop losses to protect your gains. 95% of the time that I set a stop loss is to protect my gains. And that's what I want you guys to do. So if you're in an option or if you're in a stock and it turns green, you're up 10%, 20%, then start to set that stop loss, okay? And then the higher it moves up, the more as on options, the more you start moving that stop loss up. You follow? Yeah, Larry, but what if it comes down and then goes up much higher? But you just said you've been losing a lot by it going up and coming down. So minimize your loss by simply using your toolbox, which is your stop loss. It is the tool that you should be using daily. And when it goes up, for those of you that have the right app, you can actually put a trailing stop loss on, okay? And I talked about that in Money Moves today. But let's just stick with a hard stop. And on these momentum plays, during the mornings is when they peak out and then they cool off and they never sometimes get back up. And so what I do sometimes, a lot of times, is I rarely set an option to expire the same day. I rarely do. I rather make less money, give myself a little more time, take profits, right? And just, skim off the top. But if you do a lot of skimming, right, you just minimize the amount that you would have made, but you do that more times, you're actually going to beat everyone else in earnings. That's what I want to talk about. Okay, just just not trying to maximize what you get out of one option play and live to get into another option another day. That's what I wanted to talk about today, good people. So hopefully this has helped you, but just challenge yourself, right? Just say, hey, I'm only going to make this amount. Or the first 30 minutes of the market, wherever the high is, wherever I'm going, I'm just talking about the people that's been losing. Just say, hey, I'm going to limit the amount that I'm trying to get out of these options and set my stop losses in profit. And hopefully those trigger more times, then you will greatly minimize the amount of losses that you have. All right. Hopefully this did help someone, because I know that that's a lot of you guys out there. Right. Hey, we're going to see you tomorrow. Live, love, laugh, and learn.